Hi guys, and welcome back to SwitchUp. Today Glen and I have our upcoming games list for you, and there are some nice little numbers on here. Now, don't forget, on our other video of Akami, we're giving away about 15 Cubic Games titles, so check that one out.
Yeah, we seem to have a bit of a mix of Port Central plus a few decent looking indie games this week, so let's dive in and have a look, shall we? Okay, first game we want to highlight this week is a game called World Soccer. Now, I've mentioned a fair few times on the channel I love football, and for this price, seeing the thumbnail, I expected either a sensible soccer-esque game or a game that looked like a PS2 arcadey football game, and either one of those would have suited me. I could have played it to celebrate Spurs getting into the Champions League final. Tottenham Hotspur in the Champions League final, everyone. How about that? We do like that. But this looks like absolute dog balls. Mark's just told me it's a bit harsh. It's not. Have a look at there's 3 screenshots on there. That's all there is. There's no trailer. One of them has the football team playing in an empty stadium. Okay, now I'm all for indie developers and limited resources, but come on, what, you can't put a crowd in there? Have a day off, will ya?
What Glen didn't realise is I was saying it was a bit harsh to dog's balls. Alright, the next game on our list, 3 titles on our list we're going to lump together, are the 3 Resident Evil games coming to the Switch. Now, I loved Resident Evil 4, as many of you did, and you know, if you've got a spare £100 in your pocket, then picking up these 3 might be a good choice. I'm not going to lie, I think they're slightly overpriced, but having them mobile is going to appeal to many people, probably me as well, Glen, to be fair.
Yeah, I'm a massive Resident Evil fan. I prefer the earlier ones more than 4 myself, so Resident Evil and 0 are perfect for me. But what annoys me is I bought a Resident Evil collection for the PS4 at launch for about £20, which had both games on it. And these are digital releases for 30 quid each. It's ridiculous.
It's absolutely mad. I'm not going to say it's too mad because I want Capcom to give us a review code.
Okay, next up then we have Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered. Now, I do own this one on the Wii U, although I've never played it. I've played 2 and 4, and I know, Mark, you've been beavering away on a review for this one for us, so I'm going to pass over to you and let you talk about this one.
Good stuff. Yeah, I remember when I played the first Assassin's Creed, I enjoyed it a lot, but it had no content. Then the second one came out and everyone absolutely loved it, but for some reason it didn't really fully click with me. I actually really enjoyed the third game, and then the fourth obviously. But this one's set in the American Civil War, and I can't say too much about how it runs on the Switch, but I don't think fans are going to be disappointed.
On this land, I am torn. Part of me wants to fight and repel all outsiders. The other part of me is the outsider. What is it the Templars truly seek?
The next game is Heroin Anthem 0, and it's episode 1, and it's available in English for the first time on the Nintendo Switch. It's an action RPG where the character progression is tied heavily to the weapons and items you collect. It is a side scroller, but it looks to have a lovely hand-drawn style rather than the pixel art that's becoming so prevalent.
Yeah, in some respects it reminds me a little bit of Child of Light, not in terms of gameplay because obviously that was turn-based, but just in terms of the aesthetic. It looks to have been released already on Steam, although it's not one we've heard of before, is it? So it'll be interesting to see how it holds up. Okay, next up then we have a game called The Last Door Complete Edition, which is a point and click game set in Victorian English.
Just to clarify, this is set in Victorian England and not Victorian English. As Glen says, it follows a really classic style. I do like the way they've done the inventory slightly differently. You don't have the walk, push, pick up and give, all that stuff. They've just replaced it with the items. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out in the actual game.
Apparently this complete edition brings together all 8 chapters of the story, and in terms of the aesthetic, it very much reminds me of another game on Switch called Dark Side Detective, I think it was, Mark?
Good game that, but quite a comedy, whereas this is more serious. And to have a more serious tone in this style of game might be quite interesting.
Okay, next game then is called Gunlord X. Now, I think I'm right in saying that this was originally a Neo Geo game. This is a 2D run and gun and looks absolutely fantastic. I'll be honest, I can't wait for this one. It very much reminds me of the obvious one being a Contra game, but it also looks like another classic called Cybernator, which I played a long time ago now on the Super Nintendo.
Lovely. Just to give you a rundown of some of the features, this version includes 4 new boss enemies. They've added a completely new horizontal jetpack stage. There are auto-save and level select features, as well as a new game plus mode. I'll be completely honest with you, I never played the early Wonder Boy titles and didn't even realise that they were platformers originally. This actually reminded me more of a game called Dizzy. Do you remember Dizzy? Just the aesthetic of it. How does it play, Glen? Because I don't really have any experience of the early Wonder Boys.
Well, traditionally they were almost like endless runners in that you had to get through the level and you had a depleting health bar and you had to pick up fruit to keep that maintained. Now, I've never played the original Wonder Boy, but I played the Adventure Island games as a kid and absolutely loved them. I don't know the full story, and I'm sure someone like Gaming Historian has covered it properly, but the story goes that somewhere along the lines, one company diverged, one set of people made Adventure Island, very much in the vein of the early Wonder Boy games, whereas Wonder Boy itself developed more into a Metroidvania style over time.
The next title that I want to talk about is actually an update for the fantastic Dead Cells called Rise of the Giant. Now, they're re-releasing the game along with this update, and there are 2 new levels, 2 new bosses, and a ton more content. If you've not played it, it's a ridiculously difficult side-scrolling roguelike that reminds us a lot of the Prince of Persia games in terms of the fluid animation. This is probably one of my favourite games on the Nintendo Switch, and certainly in my top 3 roguelikes.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you mentioned it, Mark, so apologies if you did, but it's a free update, isn't it? So if you're buying the game for the first time, obviously you'll get the base game and this thrown in. If you already own the game, then you can download this next week as a free update.
The last game on our list is one called American Fugitive. Now, this is a modern take on a top-down action sandbox, I guess. It looks a little bit like GTA of old, and quite a bit like Shakedown Hawaii that Glen just reviewed. Now, interestingly, it sounds like the police are always after you throughout the game, and you have to blend in with crowds to avoid them, but also meet up with the underworld gangs and carry out a series of missions for them. I like the style here, I like the look of this a lot. There's a large open world on offer as well. You're not just confined to one small area.
Yeah, from the trailer we've just watched, it actually looks really good, doesn't it? I've just a couple of days ago 100%ed Shakedown Hawaii, so actually the timing of this one's perfect.
Have you seen they've just released an update for it with a load of new content? So get back on it because you've now 89%ed it. Which brings us to the end of our list this week. I hope you've enjoyed the choices. Let us know which ones you're interested in. I'm guessing probably a few of you are going to be picking up those Capcom releases regardless of price. Are they physical as well, Glenn?
If they are, they won't be in Europe. Capcom seem to be avoiding Europe like the plague when it comes to physical releases, but possibly in America.
Great stuff. I hope all of you have watched our physical video that will already be out by the time you hear this. And as always, we appreciate every single one of you. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and to our Patreons. Thanks for all the support. For all things Switch all the time, keep it Switch up. Cheers, guys. See ya!
Yeah, as Mark says, thanks as always for watching. Take it easy, and until the next one, happy gaming.